All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining. Hey, call me Dave. Thanks. Good to see you here. Vision, glad you made it, man. Jafiel, love you, man. Thank you for joining. Xander, pencil neck reporting for service. Thank you, sir. I expect some heckling from you today. Toxic, thank you for joining. How's everybody doing? Thank you all for joining. Welcome in. Let's take coffee. Oh, you're all good, Jafiel. We can go through the Super TA today. We'll go through it again in the live stream today. All right, guys. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you everyone for joining. So, guys, Bitcoin is actually holding up really, really well against the stock market. As you have probably seen, we are seeing historic dumps in the stock market today. Everything is red, dumps across the board. And Bitcoin, on the other hand, is pumping. Not very much of a pump, but it's pumping a little bit. It's continuing to move to the upside. Certain cryptos are seeing moves up today, while the stock market is just bleeding worse than ever, showing a little bit of strength for the crypto markets. And maybe Bitcoin is starting to see a bigger exhaustion of sellers towards the bottom of this range here, and we are going to make a bigger move to the upside. We do know that the S&P 500 is hitting a major support level today, and if we do see a good bounce from this area on Monday when the stock market opens, then if the stock market is continuing to pump to the upside on Monday, or reversing to the upside, I should say, on Monday, then we could see crypto follow as well. Okay, so let's go over some of the updates on Bitcoin. We will go over what has been happening with Bitcoin since yesterday. And I know many of you here in the stream, in the stream here today are also watching my streams in the Discord for Jason. But we did see that SFP yesterday, the SFP of the lows and into the value area low of our more intermediate range. This is the smaller range from 76.6, but we have also been watching, actually this is the intermediate range, I'm sorry. So we have been watching this range here after this impulse to the downside completed, just a sideways range, and Bitcoin rejected on the announcement of the tariffs, dropped all the way to the value area low, rejected value area high, dropped to value area low, and now we are just chilling around the point of control, trying to break that point of control to the upside to see further movement up to our next box of resistance above. Or if we do reject here, we could come take another try at these lows down here, this green box of support down here, which was not quite hit yet on Coinbase. Bybit did hit the SFP of the 18th lows, the March 18th lows, into the daily level, but Coinbase did not. And we know when not all exchanges get in, sometimes we can reverse to let all the exchanges get in on that price action. So let's just go ahead and discuss here what's happening. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, Nick. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Casper Crew, welcome in, guys. I appreciate y'all. Tony, welcome in. Tina, welcome in. All right, so what do we got going on here? Bitcoin has seen a little bit of a pump today. Let's zoom in on the 15-minute chart. Yesterday in my video, we were talking about this push to the upside. You can see overnight, we continued that push to the upside, continued to that 382. Yesterday in my video, I was talking about the 382 to the point of control being our resistance area. And we even broke a bit above the point of control, tried to flip it to support, but then, of course, got rejected and found some weakness on the news this morning and dumped back down, made a higher low though. So this is the area we were looking at yesterday between the 382 and the point of control here. Pushed up into that general area, got the rejection from that area, made a higher low on the charts, and now we are continuing to grind to the upside today. Grinding to the upside at the point of control again, just chopping around here. Now, we do have to realize that we are going into the weekend, and what is highly probable to happen in the weekend is we just range. So, of course, we can look at our bigger range that we're in, push up to our more key resistances above. But as far as our very, very local range, maybe our Saturday range, which you know Saturday usually ranges with very low volatility, we can just be looking between the point of control and the value area low. just this area here and playing this range until we break either the point of control to the upside, flip it to support to continue higher, or break down and come for our lows again. So primarily, I am not looking for anything else in between there. What I am watching now on the charts, you can see our high that we had earlier today. And this high, I want to see us either come up and take this high as an SFP, as a B flat, and then see a C down to our box of support again, or down at least to take these lows down here, or to see a break of those highs from earlier today to not SFP it, to flip the point of control to support and continue up to this 86K area and 85,700 to 86K. Now, the reason why I'm looking for this area, it is the golden pocket of our move. If we go ahead and grab our Fibonacci, go from the highs of the Trump tariff day announcement to the lows that we made yesterday, turn on that golden pocket. Our golden pocket is resting right in that box. Our anchored VWAP is in that box as well. This anchored VWAP is pulled from a very key decision point in the market. So let's go ahead and zoom out a bit here, and let's look at where that anchored VWAP is coming from. That anchored VWAP is coming from right up here, right our last high that before we broke this range, our prior range to the downside. And of course, this was the start of the impulse. The Bybit hack started this day. We saw that drop on the Bybit hack, and then we saw our clear impulse to the downside with increased volume, breaking our prior range of fair value for Bitcoin and dropping lower. Now we are trying to establish a new fair value for Bitcoin below our previous fair value, just ranging. Now, a bunch of complex moves within this range, but we are just trading the range. And in trading, assets range a majority of the time. So if you can learn to trade ranges, look for the key areas in the range and look to short near the highs of the range, long near the lows of the range, you can be very profitable in trading, just trading these ranges when other people are usually only trade trending moves, and they usually only make money during trending moves. So this is what we're looking for right now. Just this range here. Looking at this range, we are finding some resistance at this point of control, unfortunately. We can go ahead and zoom in, but that anchored VWAP is from the highs of the Bybit crash. The highs right before the Bybit crash happened, right before this big impulse down. And it was a key decision point in the market where we decided to lose the fair value of Bitcoin in the upper range and start to establish a new fair value for Bitcoin in the lower range. So anchored VWAP there, golden pockets there. Our weekly, yes, this weekly has been tapped. Last week it was tapped in this area here, but it is still a weekly resistance that I'm watching, more confluence. And then also, if we look at our smaller range, just from the 76.6 lows, you can see that our value area high is in that range as well. So next area of resistance, if we break these highs without SFPing them, I am looking up here. If we break these highs, I'm really looking to come take both of the highs above. We do have a lot of liquidity resting above the 88.6, 88.8K area. And knowing that we did hit our 886 with the Trump announcement, tariff announcements pump before the dump, we do have a higher likelihood to come take out these highs eventually. That doesn't mean that we can't come take out these lows into box of support before coming up here. But this is what we're looking at on Bitcoin. We can go ahead and zoom in here on the charts and just check out what's happening very locally. So last night, we did see that continuation in the pump to the upside to our point of control. And this to me does look like an impulse, a 5-wave impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got our 5-wave impulse, ended our 5-wave impulse. Then we saw that big correction down with the bearish news that came out this morning. Ever since then, we've been just grinding to the upside here. And so what I'm looking at after the impulse finishes, we're looking for a correction. And in the correction, we can look for, this is the highest probability scenario I'm looking at right now, is this was our A wave down. We are seeing that grind up in a B wave. I'm looking for a B flat where we come take out our highs, SFP our highs, and then drop. If that doesn't happen, then we're going to have to adjust what we see with increased data on the charts, with more data coming in on the charts. But right now, just trading the range, looking at this range, we are not seeing very much weakness here at the point of control. We are holding up pretty well at this point of control here. I am watching a small descending channel that we found earlier in the stream. We had a fake out of that channel. Let's just go ahead and zoom in on the 3-minute chart. This is very low time frame stuff. We are just kind of trading within this descending channel near the point of control. I do think this is possible that we break this up soon. So we're just going to be watching this to see. And if we do start to actually lose our VWAP, you can see our VWAP is coming in right around the bottom of the channel. If we start to lose our VWAP, then this B flat wave might not play out and we might just continue to dump and come to our level of support that we're looking at, being our daily level at 81K and our weekly level at 80.7. We also do have a naked daily point of control on Coinbase at 80.4-ish. We can go ahead and zoom out and look at that. All right, let me get this back to the daily. You can see that naked daily point of control down here. Guess, yeah, 80.4 area. That is an area where we can also look if this weekly doesn't hold. We can wick past the weekly, hit the naked daily point of control, close an hourly at or above the weekly, and then see that push, that turnaround there. All right. How's everybody doing? Let me check the chat real quick and see. Thank you all for joining in. It's not going to be a super long stream today. There's not a lot happening. Just kind of going to go over some of the action that's happening on the charts. I do want to go into Solana real quick because there is some interesting developments happening on Solana. So Solana saw that move down to our key level of support that we were watching, being a high time frame pitchfork level of support. Also, if we go on to our second Solana chart, you can see we have two pitchfork levels around that 114 to 113 level, where we do see strong support coming in on the charts. Now, we have bounced from this level of support very, very nicely, and we are coming back up to a key bearish backtest on Solana. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out here onto the daily chart, and I'm looking at this upper range here that's been forming on Solana since March of 2024. So really a year-long range. This range has been going for quite a while. Clearly, Solana had a strong impulse into that range, impulse completing, and now we are ranging, trying to establish the fair value for Solana in the past year between really $100 and $300, which is a pretty large range. Don't get me wrong there, that's a pretty large range. But you can see anytime we have come down to the value area low of the range or the lower undervalued area of this range, we have seen big bounces on the chart. We are back down in this area, hitting a key support. When we hit that key support, I'm going to zoom in on the 4-hour chart. Coming down into that area, you can see here, we do have bull divs on the chart on the 4-hour. Lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the momentum waves. Our money flow is bottoming out and starting to curve to the upside here into high time frame support. We also had that liquidity grab of the lows here. Actually, we did not have, that's right. We did not. We front ran this. And this is the one concern that I have. We front ran the liquidity just barely. And we also front ran our 110 liquidity, which I was really looking to take this area here at 110. So that's the only concern I have. If we do reject from this value area low, I can understand why, because we didn't come down, grab that liquidity. So what we could be looking for is either the rejection here at the value area low, bearish backtest, to come down one more time to the bottom of the pitchfork band around 107, 106 to 108, depending on time frame. Seeing the grab of liquidity not only locally, but of our 110 lows down here in August, and then making that bigger push up, reclaiming the value area low, and seeing a bigger push to the upside. Overall, crypto is holding up extremely well against the stock market. But we're at a key high time frame backtest here. on the charts. If we can break back into this volume profile, I do think a move up to the point of control is the highest likelihood. This will take some time, and we do have some resistances before that, but the highest likelihood is to make a push up to that point of control. Eric, thank you for coming in. Yes, I can look at ETH. I'll look at ETH in just a bit here. Can you look at the spider lines? I don't have any of the spider lines on my chart, so I don't use spider lines per se, but we can look at like pitchforks that are very similar to spider lines. I'm not sure where CryptoFace pulls those spider lines from. I'm pretty sure he does the beginning of the 2020 bull market, but we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look and see if we can't find some confluence there. Rodney, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. I hope it helps. All I'm here to do is kind of give you guys my experience in the markets, my perspective on the markets. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor and I don't give financial advice, but I just want to kind of share my perspective with you all. If it helps, great. If you don't like it, that's great too. There's plenty of other really good YouTubers out there that are really good traders here. So, Peter, I think that Solana does have some nice bull divs on the chart. But without grabbing that liquidity, I mean, let's be realistic here. Do you think the market makers are going to get so close to the liquidity grab here, stopping out all the liquidity from this move up, get so close to it and front run it and then just continue higher? Now, it's not impossible, but it's not probable. I would say market makers would like to probably bring it down one more time. We do have a weekly down here at 103 as well. But what I would say about Solana is it is near the bottoms of the range. And what do we do when we're looking for range trading? We look for longs near the lows of the range. We look for highs near the shorts of the range. Well, if we can reclaim this low, this value area low, it would be a sign of strength. I would be waiting for the reclaim of the low, maybe a local weekly rejection, and then the back test of that value area low. And after re-entering within the value area, if we back test and start to bounce here, I would absolutely take a long on that, looking for a push up to at least 138. I'm going to go ahead and jump onto my other Solana chart here, and the value area low is just a smidge lower. It's right where we're at right now. You can see we're fighting with it really hard here. But let's zoom in on the hourly chart and let's look at this. So money flow is crossing over into the green here, and we are seeing even our momentum wave is topped out, but we are not seeing really any bear divs here. You know, higher highs here, but also higher highs here. So no real signs of rejection yet. Let's look at our 15-minute chart. 15-minute isn't quite showing bear divs yet. You can see here, these are higher highs. These are higher highs, so no bear divs. And until we break this high up here into our golden pocket, that would give us, if we do break into our golden pocket and reject from our golden pocket, that would give us the 15-minute bear divs with money flow leaving the asset. But until we break our highs from earlier today, we are not seeing that bear div come in on the charts, telling us that we could get one more push up to $127 where our local golden pocket is, see a rejection from that local golden pocket on bear divs, but then what we need to be aware of is the bullish backtest of the value area low where we continue to push up higher. Now at that 138 level, I really do think this is going to be an area where we do find some resistance. We have a naked weekly point of control up there. We have a daily level and a naked daily point of control, all in that same area, and also a liquidity grab from a couple days ago into that box of resistance. So if I look for a long on the bullish backtest of the value area low, I will at least have a partial TP at $138. All right. What's up, RHM? Thank you for joining, man. Okay. I think Sol's going down. Yep. Yeah. I have a video suggestion for a second Fibonacci video. It would be nice to see your insights on bounces and rejections from different levels, specifically from your Tina. That's a good idea. I can do that. So another Fibonacci video, but more on how it bounces from those levels, different levels of the Fibonacci. Well, I will tell you this right now, Tina. The golden pocket level, the 0.618 to the 0.65, is the strongest level on the chart. But depending on your structure coming up to it, and this has to incorporate Elliott wave theory a little bit into that, but if you're seeing like an impulse here, that's a horrible line. impulse and you're in a wave 2 of an impulse, you generally retrace to the 0.618 to the 786. And then you'll see that wave 2 bounce and you start that big wave 3 impulse. So if you can catch that higher low on the wave 2, which by the way, this could be a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, all the way up there, 4, 5, up to the point of control up there. So if you can catch that wave 2 bounce at the golden pocket or the 786 and ride your wave 3, which is your most impulsive, explosive wave to the upside, it's absolutely helpful. Now, on the other hand, if it is the wave 4 retracement of an impulse, and then you're going to see one more wave 5 to the upside, that wave 4 common retracement target is only from the 382 to the 0.5. If you hit the 618, it invalidates a wave 4. So you do got to know different levels based off different scenarios. But they're absolutely incredible to know. Fibonacci levels are one of the most powerful tools on the market. We do know that Fibonacci ratio is ingrained in our psyche, in our minds, in nature, and everywhere. So I do think that's a good tool to use. Solana had a huge unlock today. Wow. Okay. So that's interesting that Solana is pumping on an unlock day where you think there would be some selling. It's been beat down so much, though. I don't see that these guys holding on to it for that long just to sell it when it's at its relative lows of the last year. Okay, a good evening, Manatu. Thank you for coming in. Thank you, Matthias, for coming in. Hello to you. Hello, Roy. What's up, man? All right, guys. So first of all, I do want to say real quickly here, I appreciate y'all. If you guys get anything out of this video, would you please like the video? Trying to grow the channel, so that does help. Or if you don't like the video, please dislike the video so that I have some feedback on what I can change, or if I know I need to change something up. Also, we do have a sponsor of the channel, MEXC. I'm an official partner with MEXC. If you guys want to sign up with MEXC, there is the referral code here or a QR code you can scan to sign up for MEXC. You will get discounts on your trading fees, and there is bonuses. You can get up to 10% cash bonus depending on how much you deposit, and up to $20,000 in future trading bonuses. Now, you will have to KYC for that. What's up, Vision? Shout out to Vision, man. Should I get out of my short on Solana? Okay, Vision, here's the thing. We're at key resistance, and we are literally fighting it right now. It's a tough one because it does look like it's trying to reject us here. But if we do not get rejected here, we could come up to 127, where then I would say maybe look to at least TP a little bit. I don't know where you're short from. So if you're short from the highs here of like this, it's going to be tough, man. What I would be watching is very, very locally your structure, your market structure. So we have this kind of ascending channel, and this is on very low time frames, but you see we have these like higher lows that are forming on the charts here. Higher lows here. And if we start to break this 122.5 area, I would probably say get out, cut your loss there, take your loss, and then try. I wouldn't even enter a short here because we're not seeing much bear divs here to enter for shorts. I guess, let's see here. Let's check this out. Did we take those highs? Okay, double top there. Double top. So it's not clearly a higher high there, but if we look here, look at this. Money flow coming out. This is the 5-minute time frame. And we are at that key resistance, being the bigger value area low of the range. If we do start to reject from this value area low here, then yes, we could look for a move at least down to the VWAP. We can maybe even look for new lows to come in, which I do think is possible based off of us front running that liquidity. But very similar to Bitcoin, we are in a smaller range. This range here between the value area low and the 112, 115 area of support. So during the weekend, we might just continue to range in this area over the weekend and see what happens come Monday when markets open. If we start closing, okay, so in the live stream earlier today, I said I am not looking to long Solana here because it's our key resistance area. But if we start closing hourly candles fully above this value area low, then I will start getting a little bit more bullish on Solana, where we could maybe make that move up to our local golden pocket and then long the bullish retest here. So we have to be patient. We have to just kind of wait on the charts. I know sometimes it's when you see this pumping throughout the day, it's very tempting to FOMO in. But you have to, if you want to be a long-term successful trader, you have to account your risk management in every single trade. So we were looking at this area for support to come in. Now, you can see we came a little bit past that support, and I was actually looking to come a little bit past it to grab the liquidity. But on that SFP, you could have longed in. Of course, we didn't get the SFP. You could have longed in on the reclaim, or after seeing this little three-wave correction, you could look for a higher low around your pitchfork support to then long this area here, the golden pocket. Let's actually check that out. If we do our golden pocket pull from this small move up, this three-wave correction up, it looks like it was around the 786, golden pocket 786 area, which is the area we're looking for a wave 2 to bounce. And then you can long this area. If you find support in this area, stop below that low. And of course, I would be TPing at least some of it at the bearish retest of the value area low. All right, so that is kind of what's happening here with Solana. We're just in the middle of this back test. Depending on what happens here, we could see either a bigger push to the upside or really coming down and taking both of these lows. Both of these lows are going to be important. They're heavy liquidity resting below these lows. And one more push down would be nice to see. Okay. Let me check the chat here. Welcome in, Kunal. Thank you for joining. 400x short. Ooh. That's very risky. Good evening. JM1 LLS. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that, but thank you for joining. I appreciate it. I appreciate your support. Okay, let's check Bitcoin just a second here, and then we will look at Ethereum. Yeah, Bitcoin is just kind of chopping here. But I do think we are not really seeing that much weakness coming up here. Seeing us range around this area, not seeing clear rejections is kind of nice. And it does tell me that we can at least come up to take these highs at 84.7, if not 86 here. Didn't like today. Normally the stock market and crypto in sync. Yes, so that is the crazy thing. The stock market is dumping at historical levels, like absolutely historical levels of dump in the stock market because of the fears of the tariffs kicking in, because of all the trade war potential that could start up here. If countries start to do retaliatory tariffs, we could see a lot of volatility in the market. And remember, guys, the one thing that the market hates most is uncertainty. Uncertainty in the markets. They would rather have knowingly bearish news than uncertain news. And we have uncertainty with these tariffs being announced and being activated here. So the markets are going to react pretty violently. And we are seeing pretty giant pushes down. But once again, as far as the S&P 500 goes, we are at major support levels. And I want to talk about this real quick while we're here. So let's actually zoom out onto the daily chart here. And you can see the S&P 500 has looked like a meme coin pretty much. I mean, straight up for years, and since our 2022 lows, just very strong trend to the upside. Now, we were hitting into major support, major resistance up here and finding trouble breaking the top of this pitchfork band. And by the way, on the total 3 chart for Bitcoin, Bitcoin found resistance in this same exact area. Same exact area of a pitchfork band. Of course, this is a different pitchfork, but just to show you guys, Bitcoin finding resistance, S&P finding resistance. And you can see once we finally started losing that, dumped all the way to our midline, saw a nice strong bounce from our midline, but made a higher low. What used to be our support levels here are now acting as resistance. You can see here what used to be support, now acting as resistance. We had flipped support into resistance and continued an aggressive dump to the downside. We are hitting our pitchfork band of support. Now, I was talking about us dumping to this before it happened. What was that? 2 days ago in a stream. And also, I was talking about dumping this level based off a key few things. We have that liquidity that's resting down there. We have our pitchfork band of support that is resting down there, which is our next major level of support. And we have our ABC correction target. So if this is just going to be a 3-wave zigzag correction to the downside, and then we make another push to the upside after fears calm down, everything like that, then this support here is the support to be looking, because if we do a Fibonacci pull from the highs to the lows to the highs, you can see that our area of support is hit perfectly. And now, I think, Peter, you were in the Discord stream. Some of you guys were in the Discord stream earlier today that I did. We didn't quite SFP the lows yet, and we didn't quite hit the 1.236 yet. And I said, I want to see the market keep dumping until we actually grab that liquidity into the 1.236 and actually hit our pitchfork band of support. So now we have done that. We have fulfilled our target of the ABC correction, fulfilled our target, hitting into a more major support where I at least expect some sort of bounce. Grab the liquidity. Now, on this liquidity grab, since this is a higher time frame liquidity grab, I want to see the daily candle close at or above that level. Okay, good evening. Yep, okay. What would be the level you would be interested for a long on Bitcoin? Okay, so for Bitcoin, I'm just looking at the range. So let me zoom back in here onto the 4-hour chart. I am primarily watching 2 ranges. This range from the 76.6 lows, and then our more intermediate range after that big impulse ended. I'm calling that the Bybit hack impulse, because that was the catalyst that started this push down. Now, that was not the only reason it pushed down, but that was the catalyst that started it. So you can see here, first of all, our lower range. Let me get rid of this range for just a second. Our lower range, I would be looking for, if we're going to reject from the point of control, which is the same point of control for both ranges, I would be looking for a move down to this box of support around 81K to 80.7K, where you can see we have pretty much semi-equal triple lows. Lows here, lows here, lows here. All these lows resting below there. Also, if we go into our liquidation heat map and we go to our Model 2 heat map, let's go to the last week of price action. You can see we do have a lot of liquidity resting down there in that general area. Let's see, 2-week chart. There is a better look at this here. Was it the Model 3, excuse me, and let's go to 1 week. Yeah, so check out all that liquidity. All of that liquidity that is resting down there. 80,700. If we touch our weekly at 80,700, we're going to sweep all this local liquidity. We have to remember, this liquidity is acting like a magnet for market makers. Market makers prey on hunting retail out of the market, and that's what we are. We're retail. We're day traders that are scalping, day trading, swing trading. No matter what it is, we are the small minnows in the sea, and they are the big whales that are hunting us, stopping out that liquidity before continuing the move. So knowing that we have liquidity down there still to be taken, triple lows, that's 3 times the liquidity down there to be taken, hitting into our weekly high time frame support level, we can expect that it is still highly possible that we move down. Now the question is, do we move down to grab the liquidity at 80.7 first, or do we move up to the 88K levels, 88.6, where we also have some liquidity resting above our highs up here, where we come grab that liquidity first? And honestly, to answer your question, honestly, I don't know. So what do we do when we don't know? We mark out our levels of both support and resistance on each side, and we play whatever scenario comes. You let the market come to you. You don't ever try to chase the market or chase the trades. You mark out your key levels to the upside, to the downside, and you let the market come to you. Now, as far as looking for longs on BTC, I want to zoom in onto the 15-minute chart. It's a bit, I would like to come up to take this high. Let me say that. But if we do not come up to take this high, we could see this as a running flat where we do come down. But knowing that it's the weekend, we can also look at just playing this macro range, this micro range here. We can do a small volume profile from the lows over, And we can look at our point of control as a level of support and our value area low as a level of support. So what I would be doing is I'd be pulling a golden pocket from yesterday's lows up to the highs made last night. You can see that our 786 is right on top of that point of control. So if we are going to make a higher low and continue to range in this range throughout the weekend, that 82K area, 81,935, 81,936, that area could be a level of support where we could look for a scalp long, even if it's just to take it up to the value area high of our small range. Stop would be below your local low. Something let me actually get in here, and I'm going to hide this channel for a second. And let's just turn on the 786, not to confuse, make it cleaner. And what I would be doing if I was looking for a long there, first of all, as you're coming down into this level, you're going to want to see bull divs on the chart, right? As this price action is grinding its way down, maybe we bounce from here first time, lose it, back test it, come down here. As we're coming down into this level, we're going to want to be seeing lower lows on the price action, and then you're going to want to see this, higher lows on the momentum waves. Bull divs coming into your level of support. Now, your stop loss, I would be personally putting my stop loss below the lows from today, and that's also below our value area low. Give it a little bit of breathing room if you like, but this is a local scalp trade. So because it's a local scalp trade, now if you really want it to be safe, you could put your lows below the low made a couple days ago, but then you're going to have to adjust your position size, because here, that's only a 1.7 risk reward ratio if we're taking it up to the value area high. 1.7. That's not good enough, quite good enough for me. So what I would be doing is I would be looking at it as two separate trades. I would put my stop below these lows here, giving you a 4.6 risk to reward ratio. Great risk reward ratio. Bounce TP 50% at the value area high, and then let the rest run for either the highs that we front ran, the highs from earlier today, or up to 86K. If we do not bounce from the point of control, I do expect us to come down at least to grab the liquidity from the lows of earlier today. But probably, in all honesty, we're probably going to come down and SFP these lows again into our actual box of support. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, so Roy, that's to answer your question. That's your question. But honestly, man, I am not really interested in trading anything in between these areas here too much, because first of all, it's going to be the weekend, it's going to be low volume, and it's going to be very rangy price action. I don't want to enter a trade and then be sitting at the charts monitoring my trade all day during the weekend when I could be going enjoying my weekend. So what I would rather be doing is waiting for the market to come to my levels of support. If it comes there, you can set alerts there. Like for instance, here we go. We can set an alert rate right above that 786. Now, if it comes down to that 786, it alerts me, pull out my phone, check the bear divs, check the bull divs. Do I have them? Yep. Okay. I'm going to enter long here. Boom. And then you just go. You see if it goes. And then as far as to the upside for shorts, now, if we did come up and SFP these highs here, and confirm the SFP. So that's very important. Confirm the SFP. You're not setting a limit at 82,720 and hoping that it SFPs and drops underneath. You are waiting for the price action to jump up above that level, and then to see the candle body close at or below that level. Now, once it closes at or below that level, you could enter market short. The second it closes, I would be looking at a 5 to 15 minute candle. Closes below that level, wherever it closes. Say it closes right down here. Stop goes right above the high. A little bit of breathing room. Actually, instead of doing that, we could just do this. Here, stop would go above that local high of whatever wick was created. Now, here's the tricky part though. Our large range point of control is right below us, and that might bounce us, and we might continue up to 86K. So this to me is a bit of a risky trade, even though you're catching near the highs of a move. But in this scenario, we're looking for the B flat. So the A, B flat, C to come down. So in that case, what I would be watching is the SFP, and my first target, well, VWAP could be a target where you could take some out, but honestly, I would be looking at the point of control in 786 of that smaller range as a TP1, and then the TP2 would be probably that weekly around 80.7. that is a scenario, or you can wait until we get up to 86K, which is our golden pocket retrace, our value area high of our range, our anchored VWAP, all this up here. And once we start rejecting, as we're coming up to this area with bear divs on the chart, ooh, that was horrible. With bear divs on the chart, seeing something like this, bear divs on the chart as confirmation, enter short here, maybe wait for the reaction to start, enter short. Once you start losing that, stop would go above the highs. So you would enter maybe here. Stop above whatever the high was, bring it down. Now you could even look at that point at the bullish backtest of the point of control of the larger range. That still is a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. But then if you come up here, there is a possibility you could reject from your golden pocket and then continue all the way down to your weekly. But the biggest thing to look at when you're getting into trades is you need to calculate your risk ahead of time. You need to have a plan, because if you're blindly longing and shorting out of nowhere, sure, you'll probably get some good wins based off of that. Even if you know the best technical levels, like if you know how to do technical analysis really well, you know the best technical levels, but you're just going in with no plan. Okay, we're hitting our resistance, I'm going to short, but I don't know where my stop is. Is it going to be above that high up there? And am I going to take profit at the point of control? Am I going to take profit at the back test of the point of control? Well, that's a really bad risk reward ratio. So you're literally risking more you're risking more than you would make. You know, that's the long term. You want an asymmetric risk reward ratio. So you want this to be 2.5 to 3 at least in order to get into that trade. Or long term, it's about probability, and you're not going to win every trade. So you have to have the probabilities in your favor. If the probabilities are in your favor and you're using an asymmetric risk reward that's in your favor, overall long term, you can be a successful trader. Okay. Let's see here. Didn't like today. Yep. Okay. Tajid, TJ Arid, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm so bad with names, but TJ Arid, Faf, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate your support and watching the videos. Is this drop level 2 from Elliott Wave, and have we one more to dump? Okay, so are you talking about this dump? So, because one of the scenarios that we do need to watch for, because the only thing I don't like, this does look pretty impulsive here, the dump from the Trump tariff announcement, but overall, let's look at this. So this will give us some sort of bias in the market. Huge dump here. 3-wave correction in a B wave. So if this is an A wave, this is a B wave, which you want to see a 3-wave correction in a B wave. And then we get one more dump in a C wave. This looks like overall, this looks far more 3-wave corrective than impulsive to the downside. So being a 3-wave correction where it was a flat, where we took our lows out, right? Took our lows out and then pumped. That's a flat correction. Now we can expect, and then after that, we had a mini 5-wave impulse to the upside. So after the 5-wave impulse, we could be looking for a bigger correction before continuing another impulse to the upside. That is one scenario. Now, another scenario is that you're going to count this as an impulse because it was on increased volume and it was big. It's hard to count a 5-wave move in this, but let's just say that's an impulse, because I know that we have to make scenarios for both the bullish and the bearish scenarios. So say this is an impulse down. Well, then you're retracing in a wave 2. And where's your most common retracement targets in a wave 2? Really, it's the actual targets are from the 0.5, well, 0.382. See, a wave 2 has a lot of targets, but the most common areas, 0.5, which happens a lot in traditional markets. You reject from the 0.5 in traditional markets. But the golden pocket to the 786 is the other level. So I would say from the 0.5 to the 786. And why can't I find my 786? There it is. He was hiding from me. So in this box here, and I understand that's a wide zone, but in this box here, your wave 2 could end, where then you see the big wave 3 dump to the downside. You would break this support level with no reaction, which, by the way, because we have front run it so many times, there is a possibility that we do not get a reaction at this weekly at all. And then you would see your wave 3 to the downside, maybe bounce from our next level of support, 4, 5, taking out our 76.6 lows. and then see whatever afterwards. But that is a scenario we need to keep on the chart. Now, overall, we have to remember on higher time frames, we are still in bearish market structure. On higher time frames, if we zoom out onto the daily chart, we are still making a downtrend. Now, that downtrend is starting to see signs of weakness, exhaustion, by forming this sideways range that we're seeing. But make no mistake here, we have our high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Are we about to put in another lower low overall? That is still a big possibility that we need to keep in mind. And we still have not really hit our major support level, being the backtest of this range here, which used to be our fair value for Bitcoin in 2024. So I talked about this a little bit in the Discord earlier today, but we're in a smaller range here. Now, we had our big range up here for 3 months where the market accepted the fair value of Bitcoin between 93K and like 105, 110K, not 110, but 103, 93 to like 103, 104. And anytime it went above that, it was considered overvalued. We'd see a sell-off. Anytime it was under, we'd see a buy up, and it would be fair valued in between 93K and 103K. Now that we have lost this fair value, the market is trying to establish a new fair value for Bitcoin in one range lower. Let's just look at this like a grid. So we lost this grid of support. Now we are on the next grid lower. We are trying to find out whether this grid of support is going to hold us. If this grid of support doesn't hold us, then guess what? We might come down to our prior grid of support or of fair value for the coin and come down there and test that. So we're either going to see eventually, a breakout of this smaller range to retest this range, to get back within it, to establish the fair value back within this range, or we're going to keep dumping to the downside to retest our prior range that used to be resistance, now flipped into support, retest this to see if the market wants to kind of confirm the fair value back within this zone here, or if it's going to bounce, flip that to support and continue to trade in this zone or even go up to this zone. So that, and knowing that we're in a higher time frame downtrend with no real signs of strength yet, we do have very local strength here and finding some exhaustion selling at this bottom area. But until higher time frame, we do have to expect that we could move down to our more major macro support levels. And of course, many of you guys probably know this, and I've shown this in many streams. But if we take our volume profile and we measure the range from 2024, this 7/8 month range here, value area high coming in around $70,000. If we take our golden pocket from our wave 4 impulse lows, now remember, this is a weekly impulse we're seeing, to our all-time high. Look at that. Our golden pocket is coming in right at that retest of our prior fair value for Bitcoin. So it is absolutely possible that over the next month or two, we do see that sell-off down to the 72 or 70K area where it retests what used to be resistance, now as support, and then we rock it if it holds. If not, dump back into it, start trading back within that volume profile, start establishing a new range back within this area, and then you have to go from there. But as far as another reason why overall I do think it is highly probable that we come down to this area is because we did complete our 5-wave impulse to the upside from the beginning of the bear market. From the very beginning of the bear market. Let me go on to a different chart here real quick, and we will look at that. You know, you have a very clear 5-wave impulse to the upside from the bear market lows. After your 5-wave impulse finishes, you are expecting an ABC correction, a correction to the downside. It doesn't have to be an ABC, but you're expecting a correction to the downside. Now that correction could end at the point of control of this range. It could end at 72K, but this would actually long-term be more healthy for Bitcoin than just continuing here, and then we can start a whole new impulse. Okay, let's see here. Could be something like COVID dump when crypto capitulated like a couple days. Yes, that is something I'm worried about too. Jamil's, I think that's how you say it, Jamil's. Because the traditional markets are dumping hard right now. They are dumping really hard right now. And with Bitcoin holding up well. If the markets continue to dump for a while on these fears of trade wars, eventually Bitcoin can actually like capitulate with the rest of the market. If the market starts losing these support levels that we're at now, there is a fear that Bitcoin will start dumping as well, and we can see that big crash that everyone's kind of been expecting. And that means that Bitcoin could drop, I don't even want to say it because when I said it the other day, people were really kind of screaming at me. Okay, yeah, it's taking too long to drop. But RHM, we do have to remember this is higher time frame technical analysis, and it takes a while for the markets to establish a fair value. We got to remember these players are playing with billions of dollars, not like not small fries like us. They're playing with billions and billions of dollars, so they want to be sure when they're buying, they're going to let the market cool off and make a choice. They're going to let the data develop before they make those major moves. So of course it can take a while. And also corrections generally take time. Corrections take a lot more time than the impulses. You can see this impulse here was very quick, and then we corrected for 7-8 months. Then another impulse. Okay. Where I lost where I was. Okay. Super. Yeah, Roy, absolutely, man. I hope that helped a little bit. Oh, longer term. Longer term, Roy. I honestly think that 72 to 70K level, man, I'm going to be swing longing the crap out of that thing if I see my confirmations. If I see confirmations there and we are bouncing from that area or coming into that area with bull divs, especially on the daily chart, you bet I will be looking to swing long that thing to bring it at least back up to 97, 98K, but you might get a new all-time high from it. That is, we've been calling that the mole, the mother of all longs, that mole level between 72 and 70K. Now, on the other hand, though, if we do come down there and we start finding reacceptance back within this volume profile, within this value area, then we expect to move at least down to the point of control around 63K. This 63K area of support will be a very strong area of support, though, because this was the highest volume and the fair value for the asset in this range, where you can see there was clear reaccumulation here. We had a correction, expansion, reaccumulation here, another expansion. So the whales will defend this position here, this range. 63K would be another area where I'm looking for definite swing longs. Okay, maybe a good time to buy BTC on spot is when the 2-day crosses into the green with bull divs. Yeah, that Peter, that could absolutely be. That's a simple high time frame strategy where you don't see a lot of fake outs because it's such a high time frame. Yes, sometimes you see fake outs, but as far as spot goes, as soon as you see, I would even say the 1-day, if you're seeing the 1-day cross, that's probably at least going to give you a decent $5,000-$10,000 move to the upside, which depending, it's not the biggest move, but you can still make money off that spot. Absolutely. And with spot, you just, you got to be careful because, well, you don't got to be as careful as leverage. Let me say that. You don't got to be as careful as leverage, but if you buy spot and then it keeps going below you, you can be holding it underwater for years if, the market really starts to go down. Okay, Andrew, what's up, man? Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you. It's actually afternoon for me, but good morning to you. Thank you for joining. Does Coinbase chart more accurate than Bybit and USDT? So here's the reason, Roy, why I use the Coinbase chart. We know the Coinbase is where the BlackRock and all the big ETFs custodian their money, right? With Coinbase. Coinbase is also the world's largest spot exchange as far as the American market. And we know the American economy is the biggest economy that runs the world, or that is like the leader of the world. Let's say that. Yes, you can argue now that China's getting up there, but overall, the American stock market and the American markets are what everyone follows and what, where the real money trades. So with Coinbase being the spot exchange for that, where the big dogs play, the BlackRocks, all those people, Coinbase for me, I've been trading on Coinbase for 5-6 years now. And overall, Coinbase does, especially the volume levels, like the value area high, point of control value area low, they do tend to be respected more than Bybit. Now, I will say Coinbase just got a strike against it just recently when, let's go to the 2-hour chart, when on Bybit, we did come down yesterday. Was that yesterday? and we SFP'd our March 18th lows into the daily. Now it's a very shallow, small SFP, but you can see we SFP'd those lows into the daily, and then we saw the move up. Coinbase, on the other hand, did not SFP those lows. You can see here, did not SFP those lows. We front ran it. So in that case, Bybit gave the better signal to trade there. But overall, I've seen Coinbase be more respected. Like, for instance, right now, our point of control on Coinbase is about 84,200. If we go back to the Bybit chart and we look at the point of control on Bybit, 83,200. It's $1,000 lower, you know? So I would say both of them are good. You know, the reason why I have both those charts, all these charts on my thing, is I compare them. I look at them, I compare them. The two primary charts I use are Bybit and Coinbase. Coinbase being first and foremost, but I absolutely do check Bybit all the time, daily, regularly, along with Coinbase. Okay, yeah, a month or two like it's nothing. I know, RHM, it can be a slow. So here's the crazy and the really max pain. What I was telling everyone earlier in the Discord, max pain could be, you know how we ranged up in this range for about 3 months? Well, what if Bybit ranges in this range for another 3 months, deciding, waiting for the tariff stuff to cool off, waiting for actual, like, to see what's actually going to happen, if countries are going to retaliate, if the tariffs are going to work or not. So the max pain scenario would be a range between, you know, 80K and 90K, this 10K range general area for months. I mean, that would really piss off a lot of people and create some pain and boringness in the market. Okay, check out the VIX. I noticed now from today, looking like August 5th. Okay, so let's see, the VIX volatility index. Yeah, that's the crazy thing. So yesterday, you guys, when we saw that giant crash yesterday, the VIX was still only about 30. Now we are at 45, which is pretty high. Don't get me wrong, that's pretty high on the volatility chart, but August 5th. Okay, so that is this guy here. Yes, so if it continues to spike to the upside, honestly, the volatility we saw today in the markets with the S&P hitting major support, I do expect at least a range here, or at least a bounce here, even if it's a dead cat bounce, to make a lower high. So now if this, okay, for the S&P 500, we're either looking at this as an ABC, where we're finished with our ABC and we're going to push to the upside, at least to probably retest the pitchfork midline. But if it is going to be a 5-wave impulse of the start of a much bigger crash to the downside, then we want to see this be a 1-wave, 2-wave, and our 3-wave continue to the 1.618, at least to the 1.618, which is usually your minimum target for a third wave, which is at 48.64. And then after that, you could see a small bounce, so like lose the pitchfork midline, back test that pitchfork midline in a wave 4, and come to the bottom of the pitchfork in a wave 5, see your 5-wave crash. That is very aggressive. Like, that would be historic. Because don't get me wrong, these are giant moves that we're seeing on the S&P 500 that are not common moves. But it is a possibility based off the macroeconomic things happening in the market. But, okay, let's go back to the VIX. What were you saying about the VIX now? Let me check this. I noticed now from today, looking like August 5th. Yeah, look at that. Except that's a pretty big wick here on August 5th. We don't see much of a wick yet. So this could, I don't think the VIX will, because VIX is the volatility. I mean, the volatility can't keep it increasing. If the volatility kept increasing, that either means we're just going to get a huge spike back to the upside on the S&P 500, or it's going to keep dumping really, really, really hard. But I expect this to start cooling off a little bit, at least a little bit, you know, to start whatever it's going to do. Okay, we had a good ride. Yeah, Keston, you know what, dude? When I got so much crap, if you go back to the very first videos on my YouTube channel and you look at this chart here, let me go zoom out to the weekly chart. I was showing a very key cycle channel. And I'm going to bring that up in just a second. So let me just clean this chart up here. And I got a lot of crap for talking about okay, there we go. I got a lot of crap for talking about where we could see a much bigger pullback in the market from this area. Because if you look at this channel here, and let me make this bolder so that Bruce can see it. You can see this cycle channel here from the last bull market highs, 65K, 69K, down to our bear market lows. And yes, these pivots were made, this price action was made before the indicator pivots were formed. But because we know that trading is based off sentiment and psychology, and primarily human psychology, fear and greed and all that, if a indicator or tool you use has been respected in the past, then it's far more likely to be respected in the future. Well, we were coming up to the top of this channel where even back in November, I was saying, guys, we could see a distribution range start to form up here that lasts a few months, and then we could dump back, and worst case scenario, dump back to the midline, 46K or so. But we did see that pattern kind of form at the top of this channel, and we are dumping here, dumping back into it. We had high time frame bearish warning signals on the chart. Higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the momentum waves, money flow kind of coming out here, weekly bear divs. We had monthly bear divs. If we go onto the monthly chart, local monthly bear divs here, plus regional monthly bear divs here. I mean, that is really crazy. Money flow topping out here. It's just crazy how the high time frame signals that we were seeing, if you were ignoring those, and by the way, when we were up here, if I go to my total 3 chart, because I use the total 3 chart and the total chart to help me get in and out on cycles, like spot buying. Well, let's zoom back into the daily chart and let me get rid of all this chicken scratch. Oh gosh, did I? Okay, so when we were here on the total 3 chart, I was telling people in December, right when everyone thought the altcoin season was going to start, we were at the top of the pitchfork, seeing confirmed bear divs on the weekly time frame. Here, higher highs on the price action coming up into all this, lower highs here. Also, money flow draining and leaving the market into the top of the pitchfork. I started taking profit up here on some alts, and I got so much shit for it because people were saying, oh, I can't believe you're selling all your alts before alt season. Alt season's going to start in January or February or March and all this stuff like that. And by the way, it still could, but guess what? I can buy back in, And total chart, we were at the highs of the channel here and, making bear divs, confirmed bear divs on high time frames here. And I said, guys, we could really start to see a pullback from here. And yes, it ranged for a bit, but then we did see that pullback. Also, when you're at the top of a cycle high like this, or a potential cycle high, or at least at the top of a big impulse, a 5-wave impulse to the upside, you might see some ranging here, creating a distribution pattern before you see that dump to the downside. Smart money is taking profits up here while all the retail, just hearing about it on CNBC, hearing Michael Saylor, everyone on Twitter, X, buying in up here, while smart money was selling off and distributing. So, but now we have seen a decent sized correction, and we are starting to see the thing with this total 3 chart. So you can see we're in this clear downtrend, and until we break this clear downtrend, we probably are going to drop to our bigger level. But one of the things that I just discussed on Bitcoin, we had our prior 7-month range from 2024, and this is the total market cap. So this includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, everything, all the total crypto market cap. Well, what you see when you break a range that was a fair value for an asset class or an asset in general to the upside, oftentimes in a healthy market, you will come back to backtest what used to be resistance now as support to continue higher, especially on more macro stuff like this. And so it's absolutely reasonable that, guess what? We dropped all the way to backtest that value area high of our prior range to the freaking dollar. Well, not to the dollar because this is by trillions of dollars, but perfect. and saw the bounce from there. Now, one of the things I'm looking at, because we're waiting for this to happen on Bitcoin, right? Remember, Bitcoin's is at 72K, 72 to 70K. This area here, it has not hit that area yet. So if Bitcoin does keep continuing down to 72 or 70K, that means alts will bleed more and the total market cap will bleed more. Well, what's the next major level that the whales will defend? That point of control of that range. Well, now look at where the point of control of that range is. It's in the golden pocket. Now, this golden pocket is the same exact golden pocket pull on Bitcoin from your wave 4 lows to your wave 4 highs, right? Now on Bitcoin, it came a little higher here, but generally your wave 5 of the Elliott impulse. So Bitcoin's golden pocket is in confluence with the value area high. The total market cap's golden pocket is in confluence with the point of control. So if Bitcoin does continue to drop to 72K, we might see this drop to that area there, where if we're at this support on the total market cap with bull divs on the charts, Bitcoin's at 70K with bull divs on the charts, that's going to give you extra added confluence to look for a swing long. And total market cap will pump, Bitcoin will pump, boom. You know, you have great extra confirmation to enter swing trades. So I primarily follow the total charts to help me get in and out of swing trades. Or even, I mean, just knowing when to take profit spot. Okay, let me check the chat here. A month or two in crypto, guys, goes big time like a blink. Yes, it absolutely, Andrew, it does, huh? Doesn't it seem like crazy how fast everything's been going by? Roy, thank you, man. I hope it's gold nuggets. I'm happy to hear that. It's actually almost bedtime for this guy. Andrew, thank you for coming, man. Please don't feel obligated to stay. If you need to go to bed, man. But I appreciate you joining. I always appreciate your support. I always see your comments on my videos, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the support. USD, as far as USDT, yeah, I do. Well, USD is the spot, you know, either one. Like, USD does work better. Even on Bybit, too, the USD chart does work a little bit better. But there's not much of a difference between USDT and USD. I do trade USD. Okay. Another 3 months range would be a nightmare. Yes, it would be a nightmare. And that's the thing. Sometimes that's what happens, though, is the nightmare happens, especially with the uncertainty in the market. Okay. Do you think Powell will give up and cut rates? Okay, so Powell has actually been really strict on his dual mandate of getting inflation down while keeping the labor market strong, right? That's his dual mandate. Now, inflation has got back down a while. Inflation has got back down to pretty good levels, and our job market is still strong. It's actually stronger than expected. So with our job market being stronger than expected, and inflation overall kind of staying back down, it gives him an excuse to keep rates higher for longer. Like, he hasn't been cutting rates at all yet. Now, if we do start to see major collapses in the stock market like that's happening now, it will give him some incentive to start cutting rates. But he's said this already in 2 or 3 meetings, and he said this during the Jackson Hole meeting, that he is not looking to print money, to turn the money printer on, money printer go burr, until he cuts rates to at least 0. So he's going to start cutting rates first. And then if all the rate cutting and we get to 0 and then it's still dumping hard, then he'll start printing money. So all these people that think that Jerome Powell's going to turn on the money printer to save them, that's not going to happen anytime soon. It's just not. Unless some major catastrophe black swan happens. And in that case, we'll see dump anyways. Okay. Or front run or something. Yeah. Sorry, Jay. Or front run or something. Peter, thank you, dude. Thank you for the support. AA Dad, what's up, man? How's it going? BTC will pump. Boom. Hello, you're so funny. Yeah. Sorry, dude. The sound effects, right? The sound effects. Got it. Thanks. Yep. You got to wait till Frankie is done to stream. Oh, yes. Okay. Is Frankie streaming right now? Dang. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I actually asked him, AAD Dad, I asked him the other day because I hopped in his live stream and I asked him if he would, if he does collabs. So he did tell me he does, but he's not really doing them right now. But I think Frankie's a great trader. I really do. I think he's a great dude too. So um, yeah, that's cool. I do have to remember that he streams around this time. A month ago, you posted a video about a Wyckoff distribution. What's your opinion? Okay, yes, I did. Absolutely, I did. Let's go. Wait, is this the one? Nope. Index chart. So this is the overall index chart on Bitcoin, right? And I posted a video covering all three scenarios. We have the reaccumulation scenario, which did not end up playing out, has not played out. I didn't think this one was likely. I told everyone at the end of the video that I think we had a distribution pattern in the making, right? So I carefully mapped all this out, spent hours looking at all this, looking at the preliminary supply, all the, the signs of weakness, everything in here to look to see if the phases matched up. And I do think our phases matched up pretty well here. And based off of while this range was forming here, but based off the bear divs we were seeing in this range, while money flow was draining out of the asset the entire time this range was forming, I said it is highly more likely that a distribution pattern occurs rather than a reaccumulation. And that's when we were still up in this area, I believe. We were still right up in that area somewhere. And of course, we did end up seeing that. Now, I also said in that video that distributions take time. You're going to see a big impulse to the downside, followed by corrections in the market or ranges in the market that last a while, and then the distribution could continue. So as far as our distribution goes, yes, I do think it will continue, but look at, if we actually pull up this distribution schematic, you can see that there is times where we do range for a bit, especially around bigger supports and stuff. Actually, we would be down in this area. But in general, you're going to see ranges form where the market kind of cools off, reestablishes some more price, reestablishes a value for Bitcoin, and then it will continue either with the distribution pattern or it will end and we make a move up. But I do think this distribution pattern overall does have a high likelihood of continuing down to 72 to 70K. Now, once we get there, that could be the end of it, but we'll have to wait and see. We don't have enough data yet to know, and we are just ranging. So, yes, to answer your question, yes, I do think this still could continue. Okay. Thanks, Ludong. I appreciate that, man. I'm not trying to be better or worse than anyone else. I do my thing, and I hope if it helps you, I hope it does. If it doesn't, that's great too. But yeah, man, I just want to do my thing and share it, and hopefully you guys get something out of it. Dre, thank you, dude. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. Frankie started 2 hours ago. Okay. Wow. So he does long streams too, huh? I think it was yesterday I streamed for 3 hours and 47 minutes in the Discord. I was so done after that, man. I don't know how these guys do 5-6 hour streams. Missed the start of your live stream. Did you go over short term? Yes, I kind of did, Cajuice. So as far as short term TA goes, let's zoom in here onto like the 15-minute chart. Let me get rid of some of this stuff on the chart. We are just ranging. So we did see that SFP of our lows from the day before here. SFP'd into the value area low. Now, Coinbase did not hit the daily and take the liquidity from the 18th, but Bybit did. And we have been seeing a push up now. Now, this push up does look like a 5-wave impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-wave impulse. We're looking to end that impulse around the 382 to the point of control. Now, we did come a little bit higher, but overall, we lost that point of control, and that point of control overall is still acting as a resistance. We're chopping around the point of control right now. So what I'm expecting locally is either one more push up to SFP earlier today's highs, to see an SFP and then a rollover and a wave C, this being an A, B flat, C, where we come down to our box of support and actually grab all our triple lows down there. Or if we do not SFP, I do expect us to continue to pump up to 86K, maybe see a reaction up here, back test our point of control now bullishly, and continue up to grab our highs here and here. So we'll have to see at the top of the range. Remember, we're just range trading. So the other day, We rejected from the highs of the range, lost the point of control, dropped to value area low, bounced from value area low, regained point of control, flipped it to support, moved up to value area high, rejected value area high, lost point of control, value area low. We are literally just range trading. And so now if we can flip the value of the point of control to support, we have a strong possibility of working up to the value area high. That doesn't mean we can't see drops along the way. Or maybe that time, this next time we don't work all the way up there. But this is overall lower time frame. Bitcoin is not really seeing any weakness. We are in a small descending channel. Not that one, this guy here. We're in a small descending channel, and we're just trading within this smaller descending channel here. Let's go to the 5 minute. And to me, we're not seeing too much weakness come in here. Okay. And I don't think I talked about this in this stream. I talked about it in the Discord earlier today. So or maybe I did. Let me know if I talked about this. But I want to show you two more channels. So we have that overall downtrend from the all-time high. Let's get rid of this guy for a second. Let me get rid of this. Clean up the charts just a bit here. Okay, so we have that overall downtrend from the all-time high. And you can see here, we have a descending channel that we've been following here in that downtrend. Let's zoom out a little bit more. And now, with that descending channel that we're seeing here, if we start to break this descending channel, we probably are going to move up to 97K, 96 to 98, you know, where that point of control is, where our major resistance is up here. But you can see that our range that we are trading in, the value area high of the range is around the top of the channel. So there's a possibility we could come all the way up to the top of the channel, reject from the top of the channel value area high, and rotate down and really drop, you know, maybe even to the midline of the channel, where depending on time-wise, it could be below our lows. But as long as we're inside this bigger trend, we do have to expect continuation in the bigger trend to the downside, or starting to range sideways here and break it to the upside, or break down and continue the trend. So that channel I'm watching. I'm going to be watching this descending dynamic resistance very, very closely, because if we start to break that and then back test it, we could launch. The other channel that I am watching is this smaller ascending channel from the 76.6 lows. So let's go ahead and look at that channel. This channel here is just taken from the lows to our higher low that we made the other day, the SFP. And you can see our two highs are here. We reject anytime we get to the top of the channel. And look at our 86K level of resistance. It is also in alignment with the channel midline. Now that is why in here I wrote channel midline as well. You can see, let me make this bigger so you guys can actually see it. Weekly, golden pocket, value area high, channel midline. So all of that confluence is in this purple box, where if we do come up there, I at least expect some sort of reaction based on that, you know, on that resistance all being up in this area, where we could see a small rejection to bullishly backtest the point of control and then continue higher. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at here locally. I'm really primarily trading the range. I'm trading between, you know, the bigger range here, this guy, and looking primarily at value area high, value area high, value area low. Not too interested in anything locally, except unless I see other confluence there. Now, we just did have our weekly close, or our daily close, excuse me, just 3 minutes ago. So I want to go ahead and check out our new naked daily points of controls. We're going to turn that on and we're going to see. So it looks like we do have a new naked daily point of control confirmed. We're going to mark that out on the chart. There we go. Let me zoom in and get that right on there. New naked daily point of control at 83.097, so 83.1 pretty much. Okay, now that we have that new naked daily point of control marked out on the chart, we can come in here. If Bitcoin is going to drop and make a higher low, we can look at, let's zoom in onto the 15-minute chart. And what I'm going to be looking at here is just Fibonacci confluence. Lows to highs here. And it looks like our 0.5 is going to be in close confluence with that. Yep, 0.5 is there. So we could see this descending channel that we are seeing very locally does look corrective. We could, and the bottom of the channel's down there. So we could do this where we just keep grinding in this descending channel until we get there and then make a move push towards this high. Because it's the weekend, we have to watch for this like kind of slow grindy price action. But yeah, we could see a small bounce from there. Let's just say that. I'm still expecting to come a little bit higher, but if we lose our daily, then I'll start getting worried that maybe we are going to start coming down to some different levels. That 786 that was down near our point of control, this point of control, so the very small range that's only been formed the last 2 days, this point of control, we have our 786 down there. I showed that earlier in the stream, so I don't know if you missed that, but 786, right? Oh, wait, that's not the right 786. From the lows yesterday. 786 at the point of control. Okay, guys, I'm going to look at Super really quickly, and then I've got to get heading out of here. Let me read the chat real quick. That Pitchwork looks... Yeah, the Pitchworks, Roy, are the OG of Tool. I mean, they're so good. They're so good, man. If you know how to use Pitchworks, they can help you with so much. And absolutely for taking the questions, man. I appreciate you guys being here. So I'm not trying to hold anything back from anyone. I just share my knowledge because I believe you put out good into the world, you'll get back good. So I'm not trying to share or hide anything. I just want, give it all my experience and my perspective, and then whatever happens. Okay, so I missed the start. Yep, I got that. Thanks. Zachary, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And Kajus, thank you too. Thank you. Dump it, baby. I don't know if we're going to dump quite yet, man. It's Friday night. Not a lot happening. It's going to go into Saturday, which we know is the slowest, most boring day for trading. Sometimes I don't even look at the charts on Saturdays because I'm usually doing something, family, friends. Okay. I have to get that link. Oh, hell yeah. Heck yeah, Vision. Go get that. That's actually where I'm heading soon too, to go to the gym. And I got to pick up the kiddo too. So, okay. What was I just going to do? Super. Now, Jafil, I don't know if you're still in here, but if you're not, this will be recorded so you can check this out. We did hit right into the support level that we were looking at. So our support level, naked daily point of control, weekly level, bounce from that support level. We are getting a decent bounce, but overall, we are still finding some resistance in this area. And now remember, this area has been a support resistance flip area. You can see here, support, resistance, 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 support, resistance. So we're in a general support resistance area flip. This was a nice scalp. If you took this, this was a nice scalp. You could have even TP'd when you started. Like if you start losing these prior lows here, you could TP that. If you start dropping underneath this area at 47.57, you could TP that. But right now, or you actually, I would have TP'd up, in this area here with this box. Now I know I just drew that box, but it is a clear support resistance flip area. If we keep pumping, I really expect us to move probably up to 53 cents, that 53 cent area up there. You can do a Fibonacci pull from your last like 3 hourly highs. Yeah, that 786 is up in that box there. And then if we do it from these highs here, your golden pocket's probably going to be close by. No, golden pocket's a little bit higher. But yeah, this box here I would be looking at. And that is from 53 to 54. Okay. Awesome, Jafil. Awesome. So let me show you this, Jafil, on the higher time frames though. I know you said you only trade Super and Bitcoin. Let's zoom out onto the daily chart. Like, look how incredible this steep liquidity trail is. Like, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. When this thing starts getting run, you could see an epic squeeze, an epic squeeze, where you just take out so much of this on the daily. Like this could be such a good move to the upside. But we are in a downtrend. And what I am concerned about here is this looks like a three-wave corrective move. Even if we zoom in like onto the 4-hour chart, you can see very clearly here. Let me bring this up and clearer. We had a very clear three-wave corrective move here with our B wave being that descending channel break up in a three-wave. So anytime you're in a larger trend to the downside, you hit into a support level and you see a three-wave corrective move up. That just means you're kind of correcting this last little push down before ultimately maybe starting another impulse to the downside and continuing this type of price action. So I am a bit worried that the ultimate low is not in yet on here. But look at this. Like we hit the 886 here. So because we hit the 886 there, we do have eventually a higher probability to come take out these highs. But right now, it doesn't mean we can still come take our lows first, or at least these lows that we had yesterday, or whatever day that was. Yesterday or the day before, or take out our lows down here before. Overall, I would say it's not looking the worst here. You did see lower lows here, higher lows here. Money flow doesn't look the best on the 4-hour. On the daily chart, nah, no bull divs either. See, this is the thing. You want to see bull divs. Now that we've had this three-wave corrective move here, if we make one more low into that daily at 35 cents and see this do this, you would be seeing bull divs on the daily into support with a massive liquidity trail to be swept. Like, I mean, geez. Or the real level of support where I'd be looking to buy spot and swing long this sucker would be that golden pocket. So let me go ahead and delete this real quick and we will look at that. Let's see. It's 5:11. I got about 10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes here. And then but see this golden pocket down here. Let's zoom out onto the weekly. At 26 cents, I know that seems like craziness, but you can see here, we had a clear accumulation in this range, accumulation here. Then we had our big expansion here, you know, distribution up here. Now the distribution could not be done yet because we could see one more push up, one more push up and make a lower high, making a head and shoulders, which is like pretty much a Model 2 distribution pattern, right? All it is topping reversal pattern. And then you could dump all the way back down to your golden pocket. But I actually think it's a little bit more probable that we continue this move down to our golden pocket, where you can see our golden pocket is also the highs of our accumulation range before our expansion happened. That would be a great back test of what used to be resistance on macro timeframes now as support, where then we could continue pushing to new all-time highs. That would be the thing to see. So overall, I do think, yes, we have some levels of support before 26, but the worst case scenario, 26 could be a 26.7 to 23.9, I'm going to say. That could be an epic trade. Okay, let's read the chat here. I'm running out of time. Okay, leg pump. Yeah, cool. Where can we learn about Pitchforks? Well, I'll teach you guys a little bit about Pitchforks. They're awesome. I know, Andrew, I know you're still waiting for it. The reason why I haven't made it yet, man, is because if I do create my own Discord, I want to leave some content exclusively for for my community. And I don't know what's going to be happening in the next couple months. I know I've been promising it. What I'll do is I'll make a shorter one that's like not going fully into detail, and I'll give it to you guys. I will. I promise, man. I'll try to do it this weekend, actually. Okay, really glad you decided to start streaming in my 5th year of crypto, and you moved up my... Oh, heck yeah, dude. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that, Andrew. Really appreciate that. Fartcoin. Yeah, I can look at Fartcoin real quickly here, and then I got to get out of here, okay? Fartcoin. We will go with, let's see, Binance probably has the most. Ooh, is this it for Fartcoin? I don't know. Yeah, okay, that looks like it's it. I'm gonna just use Binance. Has literally the most, usually the most. So, all right, what we would look at here. Geez, there's not much price action to analyze, but we can mark out our levels and we can just find if there's confluence anywhere. Okay, weekly's taken. We're not going to mark that out yet. Let's go on to our daily. Nice daily support just formed. I like this guy here. Okay, and other than that, I would say okay, that is it for that. This is a tough one. This is a newer coin, so there's not a lot to analyze here, but I mean, that's a pretty rough downtrend here. Ooh, I do like this. Descending channel forming. Push up. Correction, maybe another push up. Bull divs on the 4-hour. Lower lows. Higher lows. Money flow kind of coming back up again. What I would be watching for is you could see one more rejection at the top of the channel and one more pushback down to that daily in confluence with the midline. And then you could break that to the upside and continue up higher. This channel you could chop in for a while, so just be aware of that. Okay. Yeah, this is tough too because we are kind of starting to form a range here. After this aggressive impulse ended, you had your small correction and then this another. So I would say we could look at doing a volume profile from the end here over. All right. We're hanging around the value area high. That's a tough one. I would even actually look at this range, all the volume within the channel. Yeah, this is the range I'd be probably paying attention to locally. So we're at the point of control. It's also probably going to be, if we take a volume profile from our highs to our lows, it's pretty much right at our golden pocket. You might see another move up a little bit higher to hit the golden pocket in the top of the channel. Our 786 is going to be in pretty close alignment with the value area high, which you do have to watch for a fake out of the channel into our value area high 786 and then a re-entry. Let's check out our volume. Okay, this is nice to see actually. A little bit. No, let's do that. Let me get this out of the way. So our volume is increasing quite a bit on this push up, which is nice. Yeah, it's actually almost too nice. So what is concerning to me is it's too big, I should say, because oftentimes when you have a little bit of an impulse to the upside like this here, and then you start correcting sideways, as this correction goes, you actually want to see volume decrease during the correction, showing you that it's a low volume corrective move before another impulse to the upside. Now, at the end of a correction, oftentimes at the end of a correction, you will see a spike in volume. So if this is a bigger ABC, you're coming up here, spike in volume, you could flush right back down. Let's zoom out a little bit here. I mean, that you could see this as a 5-wave impulse down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by a 3-wave correction to the upside. Yes, Ludong, I'm gonna end the stream in like a couple minutes here, man. I gotta get going. I got things to do. So, Farcoin, man, Farcoin's hard. Let's check out our naked daily and naked weekly points of controls real quick because those are always important. And we will also check out our monthly pivot points. Okay. So we're at, okay, wait, now that's this week. We don't want to. Naked weekly point of control down there. And so one of the things I would be watching for is this naked weekly point of control is in confluence with the weekly. From 23 to 24 cents is definitely going to be a support level. That's quite a ways away right now. Okay, naked dailies. This one just closed about an hour ago, 19 minutes ago, so that's very fresh. And then we have the one near down here. I do like this one as well. That's right on top of our naked. No, that's not. I'm sorry. Let's mark out the one that's right below us. And I will mark out this one for now. The one below that, I'm not going to mark out quite yet. Okay, now that we've got that, let's turn this off. Let's turn this off. Let's get rid of this guy. Okay, so that R1 monthly pivot point is into our value area high area. So you got to be careful for that. Also, you'd SFP the second pivot of the channel, which oftentimes you will SFP those. Let's turn off our pivot points here real quick. I'm going to turn off the volume too because it's a bit distracting. Okay, so what I would just be looking at this channel for now, trading the trend. If you come up to the highs and you start to see a rejection, you can look for shorts. TP1 now, you're going to have to look at this naked daily point of control in confluence with the midline. Or if you dump from where we're at now, dump here, come up. I mean, that's the naked daily and the midline is in that general area. This is the nicest support on the chart. If you come back down here, yeah, I'd be looking for at least a bounce from there. And I bet you that is going to be, let's see, let's do our Fibonacci pull from the highs to the lows. Now, we got to check how much of a percentage move this is because based on how, okay, so look at this. This is a 225% move because this is an altcoin, right? So because our percentage is more than 100% move and we're on log scale correcting for the large fluctuations in price, we do have to go onto our fib. We have to go into our settings and we have to click fib based off log scale. Now that is going to give us the correct spot for the golden pocket. And look at that. Our golden pocket is right in confluence with our naked weekly point of control. So that is going to also be a major support level on the chart. Between, what is that? 31.21 and 30, pretty much 30 cents. That area there would be a nice support level. Now, depending on how long we chop in this channel, which could be a while because it does take a while to do corrective waves. If we're coming down to the bottom of that channel, like if we do this, bounce here, come up here again, bounce from that little one, lose it, and then come down to the bottom of the channel in confluence with your naked weekly and your golden pocket. This would be an absolute long for me, looking to take it at least to the top of the channel, if not a breakout of the channel to take your highs or even come higher. And let's go ahead and look at our golden pocket pull from our last major highs down to our lows. And we got to make sure that's based off fib. Yep. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And then the next major resistance level above us, I would say, is our daily into our golden pocket up here. I use my resistance as purple boxes. So that would be the next major resistance area. But that's about it. I mean, there's not too much more to cover on this. I would be just trading this little channel, this range. You can pull your volume profile and just take all the volume with inside that channel. Continue to watch those high volume, low volume nodes, point of control, and then also mark out your key levels and let the market come to confluence areas. Okay, really glad you decided to start streaming. Okay, I read that. Okay. Yes, I'm going to end the stream soon. I like I like how you direct us with the pitchforks, market cipher B, the ranges. Peter, thank you, man. I just try to explain why so that you guys truly understand it. Because I can come up here and say, oh, look at my level. It got hit perfectly and we rejected, or it got hit perfectly and we bounced, and I'm the greatest, you know. It's like, well, if you don't explain to the people why it happens, it doesn't mean anything, you know. It's just bragging and being stupid on the internet. So I'm not trying to do that. I'm really trying to show you guys why the market moves to the best of my ability, and to show you why I'm looking for what I'm looking for. And in the same way, that kind of is teaching you guys so you could do it for yourself. So a major part of this channel, if you look, it's about education and just, you know, hanging out with cool people, education, all that good stuff. So I hope that it does help you guys, and I will continue to show you that process of why I'm looking, where I'm looking, what I'm looking for, how I mark these things out. And for me, it's taken me a while, especially with risk management and discipline, because risk management and discipline is the #1 thing to learn in trading. But once you learn how to do the TA and find confluence, once you learn the discipline to let the market come to your levels and not chase the market, and then once you figure out how to use proper risk management and take high probability trades, you absolutely can become a great trader, a great, consistent, profitable trader. Now, it will take time and you will have mess ups, especially in the discipline part. I still do have mess ups in the discipline part. But overall, I would say just keep trying. Don't be too hard on yourself, and you start out with low enough amounts of money where if you do really mess something up, you're not going to ruin your life over it. But I would recommend, unlike some, they recommend demo trading. I would actually recommend using a little bit of real money so that real emotions are involved. Not enough, like say $1,000 is a lot to you, then use $100. Throw $100 in an account and use that $100. So if you lose it, you're going to say, damn, that freaking sucks. And you're going to have some emotion involved in trying to save that money, but it's not going to destroy your life if you lose that $100. So yes, anyways, guys, thank you all so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Great questions today. Really, really great questions today. I appreciate all of you guys for joining. I am going to be doing more live streams in the future. I just don't know exactly when, but thank you all for coming. I will see you on the next one. And wait, let's check Bitcoin for 2 seconds. I want to see if it's rejecting. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. All right, it's just chopping in that channel, guys. So I'm watching this micro trend channel, not that one. This guy here. And if we start to lose our VWAP in our daily at 83,097, then we might look for a bigger push down. But I am looking to at least come up and take these highs at 84,720, if not up to 86. Thank you all. I appreciate it all. I will see you on the next one. Peace out.